Dr. Joanne Righetti, welcome back to Pet Talk Radio.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be back.
We've been chatting about training and ways of training generally for dog and cat owners, pet owners generally. It's changed over the years, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, we used to go to traditional training classes where you marched up and down with your dog for 2 hours. They still are out there and fantastic if you want to do it. But a lot of what we do, Kay and I, is just educating people, it's talking to people, making sure that, they understand and understand about dogs, understand their own lives, and then we need to understand about their lives. There isn't a one cure fits all with pets. We're all different, the way that we treat our pets and the way that we want to treat them.
And so let's just talk specifically about dogs for the moment. Do different dogs need different kinds of training?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Think about it. We want to motivate them to work with us or work for us. And every dog has a different motivator. So with lots of them, it might be food. With others, it's just a pat from you or praise. And some will work for a squeaky toy.
And in the case of the Bichon, it's either a bed or a lounge or a cozy knee.
Yeah, and understanding that. Instead of commanding them and saying, you must obey me, understanding what works for them, is the way to a dog's heart, basically. They all want to work for you. And the more you do it and the more you motivate your pet, the better relationship you're going to have.
So now that we are a truly, I guess, multicultural society here in Australia, we've got a lot of people who love pets, a lot of people who don't, but those who do love pets who come from other cultures, are you seeing a difference between the way they treat pets and perhaps the way the Anglo-Saxon Aussie treats a pet?
Yeah, I guess you can't just generalise too much. There are differences. Some people, different cultures, they perhaps have seen a dog in a different way as opposed to the pet way that, the sort of Western world sees it. But I think there's so many individual differences. We can't actually say one culture sees it this way, one sees it the other. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people do find, that there was a lot of Asians in the past would get a dog perhaps guarding a property, making them feel better that way. But then again, I've seen just as many who are pampering the pets even more than our Anglo-Saxon background. So I think there are a lot of individual differences.
They buy them coats and all sorts of things, yeah.
Well, the good thing is that dog training or cat training or bird training actually doesn't really rely on language, does it?
I know, and it's wonderful. And I talked to somebody just yesterday who was saying, I can't believe my dog understands Spanish. And I was like, well, yeah.
¿Por qué no?
¿Por qué sí?
Hey, I can't understand Spanish. The dog is really clever. But, dogs understand the meaning behind the words. They're not really looking at our words and, and translating to English and then going, oh, now I get it. They just understand what we're trying to communicate. A sit means sit in whatever language you say it.
Yep.
So we have to be really clear what we want from our dogs and then reward them when they do what we want. Sometimes humans aren't very clear in their communications.
Really?
That's true.
That's very odd, and, people just talk. But I digress. I'm actually very excited because I think that there is room for us at Pet Talk Radio to come up with the ultimate of Alan Peace's body language type books, but for pets.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah?
One of the talks I give is on body language of pets. So not just body language, but looking at the senses, because their senses are very different from ours. They're not relying so much on sight, but on, on smell, on sound. And, looking at postures, gestures, all these sort of little things all tie in to give us what we know as a dog or know as a cat, and which is very different from a human. You love it that the other senses compensate, and that happens in humans too. But I guess humans are so reliant on sight that whenever a dog loses its sight, we feel so sorry for them and we panic and think, oh, can my dog live? Can my cat's, how's he going to work through life if he can't see? But they're absolutely able to do it. We shouldn't ever write them off just because they start to go blind.